Welcome back to the war table, or war room. It's not war yet, everything is very peaceful. This is Myth Machine with a World in Flames playthrough, solo playthrough with Days of Decision. It's World in Flames 5th edition, Days of Decision 3rd edition, put together with duct tape and chewing gum. And we are going to start on July-August 1936. No war, no Spanish Civil War, everything is quiet and peaceful. And we will be following the developments here turn by turn from the get-go to the beginning of war until, I don't know, who knows? Probably to the end, right? That's to the bitter end. That's the goal, isn't it? July, August. So what has happened so far? We've had, earlier this year, Germany marching back into the Rhineland, a coup attempt in Spain, which ended with basically the left-wing government falling and a right-wing Catholic militaristic government introduced, which has shifted Spain from over here on the political chart between the democracies and the communist side, or all the way down here. So now it's in the middle, not quite in the middle, obviously, between the three poles. We have a new turn. This change in the orientation of the Spanish government has caused some consternation in the British and French governments. And we will see how the various countries will bid for this turn, which I have asked my friendly computer to assist me with, and it has done so. France has bid 6 bid points, plus 2 equals 8 in total. Commonwealth bids 4. France and Commonwealth, of course, need to address the situation in Spain. That's going to be 7 put together for those two. Germany is running out of bid points. It's bidding 2 this time, plus 4 is 6. Italy is also running out of bid points. Bids only 1 this time, plus 3 is 4. The USSR bids 1, that's 3 together, and then basically 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 all the way down the line here. So only reorientation in the top for this political sequence. And we start with France. And let's see, France will play 0, secretly place a coup cell. That costs France $5, 5 francs. So we said that France had bid 6 bid points in total, and that is exactly all the bid points France had. And now we're paying 5 money to plant a coup cell unknown to everyone in the world where it might be. Obviously, it's going to be in Spain. But yeah, that's what's going to happen there. France deepens, the headlines will read, France deepens its involvement quietly. French officials today reaffirm their commitment to stability on the Iberian Peninsula, citing concerns over political extremism and regional security. While Paris insists it respects Spanish sovereignty, diplomatic sources, unnamed, confirm a sharp rise in French political engagement with Madrid. The move comes amid growing unease that Spain's recent political shift may leave it isolated or worse, aligned with powers hostile to French interests. There are no troops on the border, almost no troops. No declarations are made, but observers note that France has not been this attentive to Spanish politics in years. So, let's see if France get chance to activate a minor country, of course, even if it plays the 0E. And it's going to activate Sweden to remove the +1 to Germany right there. It's done. Alright, now we will roll to see if the turn ends, which it will on 1 or a 2, basically. Let's see. It's a 6. The turn does not end yet. So, there we go. That means that the Commonwealth is the next to act. The Commonwealth, let's see. The Commonwealth will opt for an economic agreement with Spain. Of course, economic agreements helps to affect the outcome of a coup. So, let's see. This is IPO number 2, which also means that no other major power can play a minor economic agreement this turn. What kind of willpower does Spain have? Spain has willpower 3. So it is entirely possible to do this for the Commonwealth. Alright. Commonwealth is not actually going to get any resources yet because they don't have convoys. Yeah, they have convoys here, so we can ship the resources through the port here as long as there is no civil war. We had bid for the Commonwealth a lot of points, didn't we? We bid 4 points out of the 5 they had. So 1 point left, 2 money left, and the Commonwealth will now have, and I don't have a marker for that. We'll have to improvise and adapt. 1 new resource going to the Commonwealth, which already has 16 others. There's no change at all in the economic output, but it does give a +1 in political influence in Spain. +1 there. And now the Commonwealth gets to activate a minor country to affect the world, which there is almost no effects because almost nothing has been done so far. There is nothing left to activate. I don't want to activate Spain. Activate, like, Ireland or something that doesn't do anything. And that is the end of the Commonwealth's turn. 1 to 3, it ends. And I roll a 7, so it doesn't end. Which means that Germany gets a chance to act. Isn't that sad for the others who wanted to do things? But first, of course, we need to read the report, don't we? London strengthens the Western line, it reads the headlines. Britain, chooses influence over intervention. The British government today announced the expansion of trade and financial cooperation with Spain, framing the agreement as a standing measure designed to support economic recovery and democratic institutions. Officials stress that the move is purely commercial. Privately, analysts see something more deliberate, an attempt to anchor Spain economically to the democracies at a moment when its political future appears increasingly uncertain. Britain will not dictate Spain's choices, but it clearly intends to shape the conditions under which those choices are made. Well, Germany is going to place a coup cell, because this is getting messy. Germany had bid a whole bunch of stuff. 2 points only. That was actually a cheap turn in terms of bid points. And a coup cell costs 5 money for Germany. Ugh, that's a lot of money. And again, this is not going to actually affect any minor countries because it's 0E. Berlin denies interference in Spain. Again, German officials rejected accusations of meddling in Spanish affairs today, dismissing reports of increased ideological coordination as speculation fueled by foreign anxiety. Many a German diplomat have been seen in Madrid by the Spanish Foreign Department as the new government takes office. Diplomats from other countries notice a pattern. Wherever political instability emerges in Europe, German influence is never far behind, discreet, deniable, and persistent. Berlin insists it only seeks order and balance. Others wonder whose balance that might be. And Germany, of course, will activate Spain and remove the +1 to the Commonwealth, so that Spain doesn't move at all in the on the status display. And with that, we're going to roll again. Let's see if Italy gets to do anything. And I roll a 9, so yes, Italy does get to do something. So, Italy is going to go with a 0G. Rome consolidates and watches. Following months of dramatic action abroad, Italy has adopted a noticeably quieter posture. No new initiatives were announced these months. Officials emphasize the need for economic recovery and internal stability. Publicly, Rome appears content. Privately, few doubt that Italy is merely waiting for the next opportunity, not abandoning it. Spain, Italian newspapers note, remains a matter of legitimate interest. So, that is going to give... We had... Italy had bet 1 point. Yeah, everybody's betting 1 point. So, that was a good dividend for... Now, 1 point here, it didn't have any bid points, so that comes out of the cash box. Because its place is 0G, Italy will get 9 bid points back. And we'll activate the Netherlands, Austria. Can Italy even activate the Netherlands? Let's see. Yep, they can. So, we activate the Netherlands, get rid of the negative influence there for Germany. And we roll again to see if the turn ends or not. It's a calm political turn this time, and it does not end. The Soviet Union will also play a 0G. There is literally nothing left to affect for anyone around here. They bid 1 point and succeed in play, so that's 7 left. And then they play a 0G. They have political effectiveness 2 at the moment. Times 3 is 6 points, so now they have 13. They're just banking lots of points. So that's a second 0G. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to be 4 now for the turn to end. And it still doesn't end. Last time it ended immediately. This time it doesn't end ever. So Japan spent 1 bid point. It's going to play 0G like so many others. Japan has the same political effectiveness as the Soviet Union, which is 2. So it gains 6 points. And Japan would activate Austria if it could. But it cannot. So it's going to be quiet in most of the world here. The Soviet government has issued no formal response to recent developments in Spain, limiting its commentary to ideological criticism of Western indecision and fascist opportunism alike. And for Spain, for Japan, they are not even commenting on European affairs at this point. Let's see now. Did I roll for the turn to end after Japan? Oh, now it ended. There we go. So the US and China do not get to do anything. The US bet 1 bid point, gets 2 bid points back because as comfort, so it's net +1. China, of course, +1, -1. It's all even as we go. And that ends the political affairs for this turn. So now we have 2 coup cells in Spain, 1 French and 1 German. I'm going to have to fix this so it looks more like it's going to be like a resource marker like that. But it's placed on the resource so we can remember that. And we will roll for who gains the initiative this turn. And that was not the roll, of course. Now we're rolling. There we go. And it's going to be 5. And the Axis have a +1. And could use a reroll, but don't need to because they have the initiative. So, initiative for the Axis this turn. And it is now July and August. Let's see what kind of weather we get. Not going to matter a whole lot because no war is going on right now. July, August, a 4. Clear everywhere except in the subtropical and northern monsoon, which has mud and monsoon, respectively. 1 step for the impulse track. We have It's July and August right now, right? Right. So we'll get 2 Soviet infantry armies. Where would the Soviets want to place these guys? We have evacuated Vladivostok here. Why not place them there? It's not like the Soviets are actually building up against Japan, but maybe they are. Japan should not feel too sure about things. And they're not. And do we have any reinforcements over here? We have a French infantry corps. So we'll place that. Should we want to place it in Paris, Lille? Metz. Strasbourg does need the reinforcement because it can be surrounded by four hexes, but this is the Maginot Line, so defenders are tripled inside of it. So I feel like it's fairly safe out there. Alright, the Axis will start with the first impulse in this long July and August turn. And again, we can notice that there's no new reinforcements here for Japan, so it's going to be a quiet turn, I feel like. So, yeah, what does Japan want to do? July, August, it's all nice and clear. We're going to move 1 infantry corps like... Yep. We're going to move 1 infantry corps like that. Or should we move it like this and flip it? Nah, we'll move it like that. With the buildup of Soviet forces here, Japan takes a strong view and is going to make sure that the border between the two countries is properly protected. Japan will need to build more infantry, clearly. We don't have a need to move any ships at all this time, and... Oh! Pipeline placement, yo. Pipeline placement. Do we have more transports? We do not have more transports in Japan. When is the next transport coming in for Japan? It's gonna take a while, isn't it? That's where it comes in. January, February of next year. Okay. So we can't actually deploy anything for a while. Because we have a resource here in Formosa we're not getting right now. But I feel like, do we want to do a pipeline placement to get those? Or do we want to save so the transport can actually transport units? We will only have 1 unit to transport. I think we're going to be fine. So let's do the pipeline placement. There we go. This happens. Hainan is not Japanese now, unlike what the map seems to suggest. I'll put the Chinese marker there. This means that Japan is getting 1 more resource. And of course, if there's something the Japanese don't have a lot of, it is resources. It has 7 factories. The production multiple is a 1. And now it has 9, so 7. Yeah, it's still building for 7. So the resource is not going to make a difference for a while. It's sending 1 build point over to the Americans, actually. So, let's see. What is going to happen in Europe? Not much. There isn't a whole lot of units to move. I guess I could put the fighter there, just symbolically. But again, everything is very quiet everywhere. This looks like Germany thinking about a Polish invasion eventually. Are they, though? Since nothing else is happening... Oh, look at that. We forgot to unflip the tank here. Might as well put this transport out here. And move this guy over here, because that 8-4 is lovely, and Germany will want that somewhere slightly more useful than Königsberg. Meanwhile, we have designs here from the point of view of Rome. Rome needs more of just about everything. Including, yeah, just about everything. I think right now everybody's sitting on pins and needles regarding Spain, but how long is that going to last? So yeah, that's basically about it for the Axis impulse. Not a whole lot to do there. China can't move anything because we need to have a troop down here. We've seen the Marines on the production chart. France is fine as everything is. The Commonwealth has already moved some ships here and there. Needs more light surface, really. Has 2 more here, but needs more. Not gonna move those away from Scalpa Flow. Is France going to move? I guess we could move the French fleet down to Marseille. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so both of them will get there. It's now a Mediterranean Navy. But otherwise, this is going to be probably the quietest turn we've had so far. Because there's no war. There's coup cell in Spain, but there's only one coup. There's like once from each side, which means that they will cancel each other out completely. The Axis can put this guy here. And this guy has moved as far as he can. This fella will move over there. So now we have the 32nd Army up here by the border, contributing to Axis garrison value against the Soviets. And that's essentially that. The Allies, we had this infantry unit here, which is moving into Koniev's supply range. Let's see what we have here. Soviets have 1 infantry unit here. Let's put another one here. Oh, it gets flipped because it is, of course, a marshland. What are we doing with this guy? We're going to move him here, maybe? Slowly but sure. It's a European map, so it can actually move 2 steps like that. Look, it's aggressive towards Finland here. The Finns are not happy. Let's see how long that will last. We go on. Axis 3rd impulse. We've moved everything we needed there. Can move this one ashore in Stettin. Really can move ashore anywhere, but Stettin is a city, so it can be railed conveniently later. Which, of course, means that German transport has been used. That's not going to happen often in this game, but it happened now. And then we go to the second side's impulse. Allied 2nd impulse, or 3rd impulse, because it's summer and everything is nice and quiet. And 3 movement points is what it takes to move into a forest hex on the Pacific. In the Pacific. On the Pacific map. Okay, we will roll to end the turn for the first time. It's going to be a 1. It does not end. Alright. How about an Axis turn? I think we're just going to pass, honestly, because we've done all the things we felt like we needed to do. Nothing particularly urgent happening. 1 or 2, it ends. It does not end. There's going to be a lot of passing now, isn't there? Allied 4th impulse? It's a summer turn. It never ends. And it's a bit of a drag in 1936 because it's the year where nothing much happens unless there's a Spanish Civil War, which we have been able to avoid because of the situation. It's kind of like the politics is really the focus now. That's a 2, which means that the turn ends after the Allied impulse, which means that both sides have had the same number of impulses, which means that the initiative track is not affected at all. All right then. We might actually be able to do a second political turn this time. Possibly. Or should we not? I don't know. We have to build first, and then we'll see what the time is. Okay, we've had that partisan phase. Let's roll a d6. Any partisans in the world? Japan is hoping for not. A 5 on the partisan table is... Why did you jump like that? I don't know why it does that. Sweden, Persia, Romania, France, Yugoslavia, occupied China, South Africa, and Burma. That's nothing, because occupied China is not part of the Japanese forces at this point. Japan has not invaded China yet, that's what I'm trying to say. Alright, so no partisans. Russian partisans, convoy coup phase, US entry phase. Nope, there's no war yet. Production phase, let's go. Alright, the US gains money. It has 11 money, it gains 3. 1, 2, 3. It has been building navy, of course, because that's what takes the longest. Oh, look at that. This one needs to get in stat. No, it's actually in the construction pools. It doesn't need to get in stat. I was wrong. None of these need. This one has to be built next turn and completed. Next turn. Okay, what do we have here? Nothing happening there. Okay, with the US having this much money, I think we're actually going to be a little bit bold here. And do... Nah, we're waiting because eventually the US will gear up production. When the US gears up production, there will be more money to spend on things. So let's just build a transport for now. Like we have been, slowly but steadily. The US will definitely need those in times to come. So that's where that one goes on the production spiral. So the US is still just building one ship. The Commonwealth gets 6 production per turn, now has 8 money. Let's see, it doesn't have to build that one this turn. It does not have to build anything naval there either, so we're doing what the Commonwealth tends to do and build 2 transports. Man, I can only build 1 transport if I'm gonna set up a coup cell in Spain, which everybody's trying to do. So 1 transport it is. See, this is the problem for the Allies. They're already stretched economically because of the situation in Spain. On the other hand, they would be stretched economically if there was a Spanish Civil War. So damned if you do and damned if you don't. And that is a single ship this turn. France is also in trouble. Has no bid points at all. And no money. It has some money because it has 4 production per turn. It does not have to launch another ship at the moment, so all of that is fine. It should build infantry, but given the situation in Spain, I think we're not building anything. Alright, the Soviet Union earns 4 money per turn. Let's go. It has now 9 money. How many infantry did it build last time? That's what we do. Infantry spam. Okay. 1. Let's continue with that then, until we've geared up, I guess. Having money is not a bad thing. And it's going to need the money for various political shenanigans eventually. So... 1 more infantry coming in. Slowly but steadily. China has 1 money and will not build anything this turn. To no one's great surprise. It built 1 infantry last turn, but this time it's not building anything. Alright, Germany gains 8, so it has 9 money. Germany has problems, much like Italy. Not enough money, too many things to do. It does need to build stuff. None of the ships this turn. Should I build an armor core? Should I build a fighter? Armor take longer to build. Paras take a long time to build. Paras count against infantry gearing limit. Let's build a para. The second one. That is 5 money, so it has Germany now has 4 left. No reason to fret, world, just because Germany is building Fallschirmjäger. Do we have enough transports for both of them? I'm not sure. You have 1 transport here, and that's it. Okay then. We need 1 more transport, so we can actually have enough planes for our Fallschirmjäger to jump out of. Nope, not a ship. Infantry. Italy is at -1 money because of the bid. Gains 4, so it's at +3. Any required builds? Yes, there is. This heavy surface has to be... The keel has to be laid down. That is 5 money. -2 for Italy. Here we go. This is... Takes a full year to complete. It is the Littorio and Vittorio Veneto. And we're going to have to flip it so we know that it's just going to the construction pool, basically. That is an Italian ship. And then we finally have Japan, which has an income of 6, which gives it 10 money at the moment. And we have built a marine, which means that we can build a second marine, which of course we're going to do. There we go, the second Japanese marine. That costs 5 money, which is a lot of money. So that's basically all we're going to do this time. Unless I have to launch another ship. I don't. Okay, good. So the Marines are coming. Japanese Marines are coming. There we have it. January, February 37. Plenty of time left for things, I suppose. And that counts as an infantry build for Japan, doesn't it? Yep, that's it. Okay then. Does that mean that we're done with the turn? Oh my. Production phase, return to base, issue declaration, conquest phase, return to base phase, final reorganization. Okay, so this time it's very simple. It's just German transport. It's going home. There we are. And that's it. Nobody else has moved anything or done anything. All right. Looking at the time, we're going to do the political phase for September, October, and so on. Next time, my friends. Next time. It's very much a one... I have a feeling that once this war really starts, we're going to have turns that will take a lot longer. And here's the question. What should, if anything, feel free to mention this in chat if you like, what should the French and the British bid next here? And if we're looking at the bid points total right now, the US is still just going to bid a 1 because they're waiting for the next turn, November, December, when they will bid a lot to be able to hold an election. I don't see that the Commonwealth will be able to bid that much right now, nor the French, honestly, because they're low on bid points. I foresee that... Oh, look at that. Germany's low on bid points too. Only Italy has a lot of bid points, but Italy doesn't have the money to put in another coup cell. Huh. That means that if France or Britain... And now there's 1 coup cell from France only. Britain does not have a coup cell in there. So Britain would have to... The Commonwealth would have to put a coup cell in here to be able to move Spain across the political track. And when France triggers, whoever triggers their coup cell in Spain next will get nullified by the other side immediately. So there has to be one more coup cell from one of the sides here. But everybody's out of political action points right now. So we have a standstill in the world, folks. Just a standstill. Who knows how long that's going to last? Because we can't just... The two sides can't just put down an indefinite amount of money into Spain. Spain is a price to be had for sure, for either side. Lots of troops there, and very strategic location. If Germany gains control over Spain or Italy gains control over Spain, then France has another front to worry about, even if the Pyrenees are there, so it's still a concern. On the other hand, if France or the Commonwealth could get control over Spain, then they will get so many more troops to bolster their defenses and potentially threaten Italy and so on, because there's a bit of navy there as well. So there's all sorts of... Stakes are high, and the potential outcome for either side is... It's a price to be had. But how much money do you want to spend on that when there are other things to do? Germany and Italy doesn't have a level 1 treaty even at this point, nor does the Commonwealth and France. So all four of these powers need to establish treaties with each other before a war breaks out. We're getting close to the end of 1937 1936, I should say. And in 1937, things just ramp up more and more, don't they? Yeah, we'll have to wait and see to determine what these various sides might do to come out of this, shall we say, Cold War between the democracies and the fascists at the moment, playing out in Spain, the spy game. I have a feeling that Madrid is not a good place to be if you're a spy right now. You probably find like dead bodies in rivers, unknown people who have had drowning accidents, while the spy services of the two countries are actively trying to kill each other and maneuver to gain advantage. And that is where we're going to leave it for now, folks. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time from the War Table.